So you see that beautiful woman, but you don't even bother talking to her because you've already been rejected and humiliated in your head. And you think to yourself, I would never have a chance with her anyway because you have her up on a pedestal. Well, today I want to talk about this fear of women because it's a side effect of social anxiety, and I want to talk about how to overcome it because you won't be able to connect with that special lady and you're going to be missing out on a ton of romance until you overcome this. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, welcome to the channel. My name is Ruben and I used to suffer from social anxiety. I was able to overcome it and now I help other men fully overcome it as well. And I'm not trying to be smooth today. There's actually a jazz band playing over there, and it actually goes with the theme of today's topic, so let's just run with it. So going back to this approach anxiety, or this fear of women, fear of trying to talk to women, and this is a big one. I used to really struggle with this. So I always had a really unhealthy fear of women. I had a porn addiction that was driving this underlying shame and feeling of being unworthy, less than, being inadequate. And so I always had this intense fear of women. I could never figure out what to say. And so I never got comfortable trying to connect with a woman who was a stranger unless I was like really intoxicated, really drunk, and probably just came across as sloppy and awkward anyway, right? So I kept just going out and continuing to pass up opportunities. I remember just getting to the point where I would see a beautiful woman, see someone who was attractive, want to talk to her, try to muster up the courage, try to find that courage within myself to go and approach her, and just being unable to do it, freezing up, and then watching another guy while I'm sitting there thinking about doing it, actually go and talk to her and, take her over, get drinks, communicate, make her laugh, have fun, all that kind of stuff. And it became just a brutal place to be. I remember after a certain point, it was like, it didn't even become a matter of women. It was just me feeling so shitty about myself and my lack of confidence and my lack of ability to actually go after what I want. Because there was nothing more frustrating than second guessing myself and then watching other dudes do exactly what I wanted to do right in front of my face. So I wrote an ebook and it goes further into my story and my struggle with social anxiety, my fear of women and talking to women. And you can download that below the video. I'll link it below the video so you can download that, read it for free. It'll show you everything that I had to go through to overcome social anxiety and everything that I tried, all the trial and error, all of the stumbling blocks, all of the failing, and then finding the hope to keep going, and then finally discovering what I needed to heal myself on a deep level and what you need to unlock and heal deep within you to finally overcome social anxiety for good and leave it behind you for good, so you don't have to worry and fear women any longer. Okay, so make sure you download that. It's below the video. Now, how do you overcome this fear of women, or this fear of talking to women? And one of the keys that you have to realize is there's a fine line between terror and nervousness. If you're one of those guys who can just go after what he wants, a couple deep breaths, like, okay, let's go do this, right? If you're one of those guys, props to you. This video probably won't make a whole lot of sense to you. But if you're feeling terror, if you're like I was, if you're feeling complete terror, complete panic, then you need to be really cognizant of the difference between terror and nervousness, and you're going to be erring on the side of complete terror. How do you know that? Is because you're going to be experiencing some really serious, severe physical symptoms. Your heart rate's going to be up. You're going to feel like you can't swallow. You're feeling like you can't breathe. You are in complete panic, complete terror. Your hands shaking, you're trembling. That whole experience. That means you are experiencing terror, and that is what you need to get to the root of, because that's a survival mechanism. It's a survival mechanism that we all have. It's the fight or flight response. At the end of the day, that survival mechanism, that fight or flight response, it shouldn't be going off when it's time to talk to women. Because that survival mechanism, it's only supposed to go off when there's an actual threat or danger in the external environment. So unless there's a bear, tiger in the external environment, that survival mechanism shouldn't be going off. But when you have social anxiety, what happens is that your brain keeps getting hijacked over and over, and it senses that threat, that danger, like it's a tiger, and it continues to perceive that even though it's not proportionate to the external environment, which is that beautiful woman. So that would be absolutely crucial to overcome this fear. Notice when you've shifted into fight or flight. Also, when you're in that fight or flight, it's really important to notice you are extremely attached to outcome. It just comes with the territory of being in that survival mechanism. Extremely attached to outcome, and there'll always be an agenda. So trying to get some approval, trying to get a sense of worth from the interaction, trying to up your confidence through the interaction. So you're using that person for your own specific agenda. And that's why it feels, if you don't get that outcome that you're attached to, it can feel like you're dying. It can feel like complete terror. It can feel like you've been abandoned, you've been shamed. It can get really dark. So again, be what we call shift aware. Be aware when you shift over into that survival mechanism, you've gone from just healthy nervousness, you're over in terror. Okay? And if this message resonates with you, what you can do is join my private Facebook group. It is dedicated specifically for men with social anxiety, and it's a dedicated space for them to feel safe, talk about what they're dealing with, talk real, talk deep, and share their experience so they can fully overcome this thing for good. I'm in there as well, so you can ask me questions and I can support you along your healing journey. So I'll link that below the video, and you're more than welcome to join the group. And if you want to get down to the bottom of that survival mechanism, so if you're shifting into that terror, you see that beautiful woman and you're in complete terror and you don't know what's going on because you're having intense physical symptoms because of that survival mechanism, then what you can do is check out the free training. I'll link it below the video as well. Be sure to check that out, because it's going to teach you, or it's going to show you and help you understand on a deep level what's setting off that survival mechanism. There's something that's triggering that to go off, that's triggering your symptoms. And so it's going to show you how to get down to the root of it and heal that for good, so you don't have that survival mechanism going off anymore. And then you can just shift over into just being healthy, nervous, couple of deep breaths, and then you do what you got to do. You go talk to that woman that you want to. All right, so I hope that helps, and I will talk to you later. All right, peace.